talk about Luigi Mangione's lawyer. As a successful lawyer myself with my own law firm, there's certainly a lot of impressions I have of this very eccentric character, Tom Dickey, Luigi's lawyer. So keep on watching, and as a lawyer, I'll decipher some of his attitudes and behaviors that I've noticed and what I think of them. If you are new to the channel, welcome. My name is Pam Matani. I am a business lawyer by trade. And I have my own law firm practicing virtually, helping clients everywhere throughout the province of Ontario, Canada, and specifically business owner and entrepreneur type clients. This is our YouTube channel where we post free educational content literally every week, unlike any other law firm I know of. I'm trying to think how educational today's topic is, but it's certainly a fun one, as you can tell by the smile on my face. I saw a lawyer on TikTok actually talking about this first, and I thought, you know what? Why not talk about it? It's you know, it's not so fun for Luigi, but it's fun for, you know, it's fun in the sense of it's been a really unifying topic in recent times. I don't know many people that are, you know, against the benefits that people have experienced in the insurance world in the US in recent days or weeks owing to that happening. That I'm not sure if I can use certain words on YouTube, so I'm being really cautious of my language, but you know, the popping off of a certain healthcare CEO by a certain man named Luigi. So let's talk about his lawyer. It is of no surprise that Luigi has a lawyer himself. I know that there are claims out there that Luigi comes from a wealthy family. As somebody that works with very wealthy individuals myself, you know, I can tell you that not everything shines. Like, there are some of the wealthiest people I know are so illiquid in their assets. Like, they are so, liquidity is talking about the fact, you know, how easy something is to convert in cash. Some of the wealthiest people I know in terms of wealth by net worth don't have 2 cents to scrap together in case of an emergency came up today. Those are lifestyle choices that lead to that. I'm not condoning or approving that kind of lifestyle. Some of the wealthiest people I know have tremendous debts to their name where they can't take out another loan for even like $50,000 to cover for a lawyer. And I can assure you it costs a lot more than that to take a matter to trial. Usually it's, you know, the $100,000 to $200,000 range when we're looking at the more complex trials, and that's at a minimum. I mean, you look at something like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, which I also covered that on this channel a really long time ago, but something like that, I wouldn't be surprised that his lawyer bills were, you know, not pushing the million mark, if not, you know, 1 to 3 million kind of thing. So just because he is being presented by the media, and keep in mind the media tries to pump out sensationalism, things like that, as coming from a wealthy family, I don't know how much wealth they genuinely have access to. I mean, given even by the fact, you know, there were reports of how much his mom suffered owing to insurance denials and things like that. And you would think that somebody that counts as wealthy, which definitionally, you know, has been understood to be at least belonging to the $50 to $100 million net worth mark. But again, net worth can be comprised by having all those homes backed up by debt and $1 to their name, or a $100 million net worth can be somebody having $100 million cash in their account and no liabilities. So there's a lot that goes into it. But long story short, because of the notoriety of the case, it just, despite how liquid Luigi personally may be, and keep in mind, we're assuming that his family, you know, if they have liquid wealth, that they support what he did and they're going to give money to fund a lawyer, things like that. What if his family's not even talking to him right now? So Luigi at 26, like what, 1 or 2 years out of school, is probably very, very, very financially poor himself. That's my guess. I don't know the trust fund situations, things like that. But again, I know that some of what has inspired his actions were, you know, seeing how lack of coverage impacted his life and his mom's life. And why would there have been lack of coverage if there was an abundance of wealth? Putting that out there first and foremost, okay? But that being said, like I said, even if he has millions sitting on the side, he would, of no surprise, have hired a top lawyer. If he has no money, it's also not surprising that a lot of lawyers would have wanted to take on the case owing to notoriety alone. When I saw Tom Dickey, it was a little bit of a surprising choice. I was expecting someone, you know, older and more experienced for sure, but you know, Tom looks like 60s, maybe 70s. I was expecting like a 40s, 50s kind of situation. I was expecting a male lawyer. Yes, I was expecting a Caucasian male lawyer, just owing to the, you know, systemic discriminations of our system. That is a common choice that individuals in Luigi's position make, owing to being aware of certain, you know, again, systemic discriminations, including racism that are in place, including sexism. I didn't expect him to hire a female lawyer. But I was a little surprised by how old the lawyer was, and I was very surprised, I have to say, not that it matters a lot, but I was very surprised by the attire of the lawyer. Honestly, we see lawyers look a lot more sharp when they are representing that level of client, not, or I should say that level of case, right? There's nothing prestigious in and of himself about Luigi as a potential alleged criminal. It's just that his case is at such a level where anybody knowing they're going to be on camera 24/7 after they expect to take on this case would put forward their best foot forward. A lawyer I'm thinking of right now, I think his name is Brian Steele, Young Thug's lawyer. I mean, that lawyer was like stitched to a T. Very good lawyer, and fitting some of the descriptors that I was expecting out of Luigi's lawyer. If not, honestly, having had the same lawyer as Young Thug, but maybe he's busy, who knows. So I was surprised just off of appearances alone, okay? Off of mannerisms and knowledge and things like that. Now keep in mind, and although Luigi's lawyer and I are not members of the same bar, but you know, in Ontario where I practice, for example, you know, the Law Society dictates that we not say too much meany things about fellow practitioners. So I always say, unless I'm like forced to in a court of law, I don't usually share my full thoughts on a fellow practitioner, because it's not a nice thing to do. You know that most lawyers, like most doctors, like most people, are going to lean, you know, most of the practitioners are going to be at the bottom of the pyramid in terms of knowledge base, ability, creative thinking, things like that. That's just life. That's not that common. It's not specific to law or to any colleague. That is just, you know, are most cashiers wonderful? No, most of them are bad. Are most, you know, chiropractors incredible? No, most of them are eh. So that's a universal truth. It's not a lawyer specific truth. But I do want to put that disclaimer out there that even though we're not members of the same bar, you know, I'm not going to tear the guy to shreds in this video necessarily, but do keep on watching because I certainly have some interesting observations to make. His lawyer, one thing that's noticeable off the bat, other than the physical, you know, attire or descriptors, his lawyer is eccentric, okay? As somebody that is somewhat eccentric myself, I know that eccentricism can spike on two ends of the spectrum, and that is one, when somebody is highly intelligent, so they're eccentric because they can play around, because they know they've covered all their bases when it comes to knowledge and technique and experience and things like that. Or somebody might just be eccentric because there's nothing else going on up there. I personally think Tom Dickey is on the side of, you know, being skilled and being knowledgeable, okay? Because his delivery is distracting. Yes, it's very distracting. And I personally would hope that in a court of law, the distraction would be dialed down a little bit, because you add up enough of it. And the judge is a human. The jurors are humans. There could always be that risk of, you know, taking advice from the kook, and nobody wants to acknowledge that they're doing that. So there could be implicit bias there against his lawyer if he continues to be sufficiently distracting. However, you know, to be fair, he's been distracting to the media so far. I don't know what he's like behind closed doors, but it's up there in terms of how tight the situation is. Like, we're not talking about a fun charge, you know? We're not talking somebody through like the most expensive, biggest house party on the block and the helicopters and the SWAT team came from a mistaken call and it's you know, the guy's so wealthy and whatever. We're talking at the end of the day about a, you know, pop-off charge. I don't know if I can say the M word on YouTube. So, you know, a certain gravitas should be there, especially if somebody that's practiced for so long. But where I think he counteracts it again is the fact that, you know, the lyric, I talk like this because I can back it up. I think Tom Dickey can back it up. When it comes to the knowledge that he has shared, everything he has shared has publicly, everything that I've seen him share publicly has been correct. in terms of lack of evidence against his client, in terms of the specifics as to charges laid against his client, things like that. Everything has been technically correct, despite the, where's the evidence? Yeah, that was a lot. And I hope he doesn't do that in court, because again, it's going to risk the humans making the decisions, the jury, judge, all those individuals involved, feeling that they're played with, feeling that they can't take him seriously, could get to his credibility, things like that, by way of implicit biases, right? I don't think that anybody would say, everything he said was legally correct, but he's a clown, so I can't trust him. Nobody's going to say that, but these are implicit things we feel about somebody. So, again, overall, he seems to be a knowledgeable choice, and that's the best thing you want. In terms of his bark, I like to see aggressive style lawyers myself. I certainly would consider myself to be on that side. I do think he's got bite and bark. I don't think that's a game. You've been around for as long as he has. I do trust that he would stand up when he needs to and all that. I'm not worried about him being pushed over in court. I would be very interested to see who his team is. So a case of this magnitude, I don't suspect it's going to be Tom Dickey and his oil lamp all night, He's going to have a team. I would be very interested to see who's on that team that can also afford him such a level of eccentricity and, distracted behaviors and things like that. Just distracting, not destructive, to be clear. Distracting behaviors. So I imagine there's a strong team behind him. And also, listen, just because he's a lawyer right now doesn't mean he can't get taken off record. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out. But I think with what I've seen, and with what, one of my mentors used to say, my nose tells me, in terms of the expression, like, I picked up a scent. So one of my mentors used to say, my nose tells me. In terms of what my nose tells me, I think Tom Dickey has the knowledge. I think he has the experience. And I think he will be sufficiently assertive and aggressive in court to defend his client. He needs to tone down the distractions, and honestly, insofar as he can. So, I saw this thing on TikTok the other day that kind of made me smile. It was cute. This teacher was like talking about bullying in class, and she told her students, if it's something that somebody can fix in 30 seconds about themselves, then you can share that feedback. If it's something they can't fix in 30 seconds or less, you don't share that. So for example, somebody's weight or age or things like that. That's clearly not something they can fix in 30 seconds or less. But can Tom get himself a better tie and suit in 30 seconds? Yeah, he can. He can swap one out with hopefully a better outfit he's got in his car. So I think he needs to step up the presence and the gravitas of the situation in which he's in. I mean, this is a cream of the crop, is going to be like precedent-setting case for sure. And I'd love to see him there a little bit. But he's got, he's got the ingredients. It's just we need to like that chocolate cake tastes good, but we need to work on the icing a little bit so we make more people come up to the display and want to buy it. So that is my feedback as a lawyer myself on Tom Dickey, Luigi. I've seen the sources say it's Mangione, and I've heard, everybody else in the world calling him Mangione. So for simplicity, I'll go with the latter just so that you know who I'm talking about. But thank you for watching. Give this fun video a thumbs up, and let me know, do you want more of this like fun pop culture style content, or do you want to get back to more of like, these are the clauses in this agreement, this is what you should look out for? You let me know. This is for your benefit. I already have this knowledge, so really let me know, and I'm happy to cater it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, give this video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you on the next one.